guys, we are wrapping this up. I'm so excited because I love assessments. I love talking about assessments. It's actually a meeting I was in today, and I'll tell you about that in a second. It was a hot freaking mess. But it goes to show, okay, true colors, you know? And that was even after my spiel of, hey, we're all human. We all make mistakes. I'm fine with that. I'm not all about, complaint. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to do things, the wrong way, for example, providing documentation, at the meeting because I told them to stop the meeting to provide the parent the information they wanted to review. It's disrespectful, to not let a parent have that right to be prepared for the meeting and to participate equally. I am gonna pound that into districts' brains until I take my last breath, because they've got to understand that, they'll sit and put out those stupid norms that, gosh, if I were to cuss somebody out, it would be over that, those stupid norms. Respect each other's thoughts and opinions. Don't talk over each other. Don't forget, we're going to treat you like you're 4, 5, 3, because we're going to tell you what to do, how to do it. No. We're adults. We're going to act how we act, and we're going to have respect for each other. But, respect goes both ways, right? So if you're going to ask for respect, you sure as hell better give it. All right. And not letting a parent come to an IEP meeting prepared is not giving them respect. So don't you dare try to demand respect if you're not going to give it. It doesn't work like that. Life does not work like that. So if that's what you expect to be disappointed. Okay. All right. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents like you become knowledgeable and educated to become the CEOs of your IEP meeting. So many of us advocates, we're all different. I'm your go-getter advocate. No bullshit. Let's do this. Let's get the child what they need, what's appropriate, what's individualized, and let's go. I don't put up with stuff. I don't tolerate it. I've been through it myself, and maybe that's why, I've been through hell and back with school districts with my daughter, and thank God it's over. But, it was a lot of learning, and it doesn't matter if I'm in the education field. It doesn't matter that I've worked with children for almost 3 decades. It doesn't matter that I've been an advocate for 15 plus years, because at the end of the day, I still went through hell. That taught me more than anything else. I don't care if I have a master's degree. I don't care what expertise I have. What taught me was being in the trenches and dealing with it, and just being the type of person who was like, damn it, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out what I need to do and how I need to act, respond, and participate in order to get my child what she needs. And damn it, I will do whatever it takes. And so if you're anything like me, then I could possibly be the right advocate for you. But if you're wanting that, calm, cool, collected, let's all get along, let's all collaborate, because we all know that collaboration just happens all the time, right? Or do you have to whip them into shape and then the collaboration happens? That's how it happens. All right. That's how I feel. It's so true. You got to whip them into shape, and then bam, all of a sudden they want to collaborate. But it's almost like they want to push you to see how far they can go. All right. Ugh. All right. So for those of you who are on, I know it's the middle of the day, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Say hello. Tell us where you're from. We want to hear from you. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. You guys know what to do. We're all, hi, Nan, how are you? Hi, Dorothy, Southeast Texas. All right. Marlene, hello. Hey, Bill, how are you? All right. So make sure to share this. We're going to have our first hat pull of the year. I tell people my new year doesn't start January 1st. My new year starts like August. So that is when my year starts. So, thank goodness I'm not into, New Year's resolutions. I'm like, okay, if you want to do it, just do it right then. Right. So, But that's just me. I mean, I never stuck to New Year's resolutions. That's just me. You know, if I was going to do something, I had to do it right then, you know? And if I screwed up, I just tried again. All right. So I'm just going to straight shoot this with you. I am a stickler when it comes to assessments. All right. Call it what you may, but that's how I am. All right. I don't play games with it. I don't screw around with it. I don't joke around with it. All right. I have no interest in being entertained by the school district on what they feel is the most appropriate when they don't even know your damn child. That's just my opinion. All right. But it's also 15 plus years of an opinion. All right. Of experience, of what I have experienced for the most part. Now, that doesn't mean what they have to say means nothing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, don't you dare tell me, even though it's the law, that the law states that the school district has the right to make the choices and decisions in regards to what evaluations they're going to do, meaning like the names, okay, like the KTEA that we spoke about, the Wyatt, the, Self 5, whatever it is that they get to pick and choose, right? Well, it's kind of like we're in 2022, almost 23 now. All right. The last time IDEA was updated, it was in 2004. Hello, we need an update. Hello, we need an update. Ding, ding, ding. All right. That's an update we need. All right. That's some bullshit. That needs to be a collaborative experience, just like most other things. All right. Now, things like states deciding if they're one party, two party, things like that. Okay, fine. That's no big deal. But wording like as soon as necessary, reasonable, and that they get to choose the assessments, those things have to go. All right. They will. I'm pretty sure they will, but it's just going to take time. All right. And not go, but that's going to be more collaborative. All right. But mine, I don't know if I would call it collaborative. I would call it, I push them against the wall. It's as simple as that. You push someone against the wall, they can only go so far. I have started calling myself the most hated advocate. Do I think I'm the most hated advocate? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't care. But what I do care about is the kids. And I care about the kids so much that I will do whatever it takes. I truly will. And if that means I'm going to be the most hated advocate, okay, that's fine. Spread it around. So here's what I'm saying. And we're going to recap before we hit today. It's very important that you all know how important you are. My husband will say, how do you know this stuff? And what he's referencing is my daughter, Skylar. Okay. And because I'll say, oh, this is what she's mad at. Or I'll say, she's getting ready to throw a fit. Watch, give her 3 minutes. Or just as moms, parents, even grandparents, caregivers, when you have that emotional connection, you just kind of know in your gut. I don't explain it. I don't know how to define it. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean, right? And we just know, not always what's best, because none of us know it all. But we know when something's wrong. Okay, that's typically when parents bring me on. And even if we know something's wrong, but we don't know exactly what's wrong, that's actually when parents more than likely, sorry, that's my Alexa. That's mostly when they bring me on is, hey, Raven, something's wrong. I don't know what it is. I know my daughter's not learning anymore. My son's not learning. They're struggling with reading, whatever it is. It's kind of that something's not right feeling. And then we proceed. Right. And I have a good ear for when a parent calls and they throw up on me because they're so frustrated, how to kind of dissect, what's really going on. And then of course, in more conversation, everything kind of comes out. But it's so important to realize how important you are, because you should be part of everything. And you can't tolerate when they disrespect you. And I will tell you straight up, I have to tell parents this a lot because many parents actually don't see this. Hey, Erin, how are you? Hi, Marlene. Man, that's should be fun. Yes. So you all can contribute so much, and if they only would listen, right? They're so busy. Okay, here's the agenda. This is what we're doing today. We'll talk about that later. We'll take note of that. You guys know exactly what I say to that. We are going to collaborate. That's not collaborating. That's them dictating to you what they're going to do. All right. And I am very big on my flow. And my flow is my flow, but it's my flow because it works. And if they do it that way, that's the way in which all state websites say an IEP should go. All right. Evaluation, or really disability, evaluate them for the disability. Then it's evaluation. And then it's you hold an IEP meeting, go over the evaluations. Then you hold an IEP meeting or however many you need to create those damn present levels, because that's the meat and potatoes. You create that wrong, the rest of your IEP is screwed. I don't care how good you think your goals are, the rest of your IEP is screwed if those present levels are not on point. And I literally highlight, all right? Highlight, okay? Highlight every little thing, all right? I want to make sure that everything is in there of need. I make sure that their wording is changed, because they make it like, oh, it's no big deal. She does great on the swing and she does great with reading fluency, but she tends to have some concerns with comprehension. No, she doesn't tend to have some concerns with comprehension. She doesn't comprehend. Let's just put it how it is. But that's how they'll say, oh, she tends to have some concerns with comprehension. She may, have some issues with this or struggle with this. At times, blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to put exactly what it is. Okay? And then, of course, if you don't like their evaluations, ask for an IEE. But, if you do it how I'm telling you, you will get good evaluations. All right? So we went through already. Hold on one second. Pull up my notes. Why IEP assessments and evaluations are essential. Well, you can't create your IEP without them. Today was quite the experience, because I proved to them that they could not create the IEP without the evaluations that they had not done on this child for 5+ years, because they chose to do a review of evaluative data. So if anybody knows Texas, all right, so they do reads, all right? It's a review of educational data. And so that's what they kept doing, this revolving door on this child. So they have no real data. So today, got my notes, all right, I asked them, all right, because they're trying to read their present levels. So I said, where are your present levels coming from? Because we haven't had an evaluation on this child for 5+ years. Oh, well, we took recent data. How? It doesn't come from thin air. Where'd it come from? Well, I did the Bergantz. Oh, do we have a copy of that? No, we don't have to tell the parent about us giving that. That's for us teachers to do and see. Oh, but you're bringing it up here at this meeting today, right? Oh, okay. Send us a copy. So they took 20 minutes to go and scan a copy in and send me this report. All right. Then they're going over the report. All right. So I'm following them. I shut my mouth. I'm listening, taking my notes, listening. And then I say, okay, teacher, you just contradicted yourself twice. So that's a concern, but I'll get to that in a second. But my key thing is nothing here in your Bergantz told me anything. It actually told me everything the child cannot do at all, that basically you could not evaluate her. And yet you're saying to me how excited you are. You're telling me how much she said, I wake up in my sleep and think about, how well I want her to do, and she's always happy and everything's great, and I really am hoping to get her away from all the prompting, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I was all about the excitement at first, but then it's like, is this like real or fake? Like, I was just kind of in the middle with it. And so then I said, okay, so I listened to you and I heard everything that you said. So either way, I need to establish a baseline. Since we're putting in the request for an evaluation, that's going to be getting done. Y'all are wanting to do an annual, which I told you we need to put this off until the evaluations come back, because there's no IEP going to be created until we have the evaluations. But they're wanting to get this annual done, and I'm okay with an annual getting done and editing some things, amending some things until the evaluation comes back. But they couldn't even give me a baseline, and then they end the meeting. Get this. Okay. So I said to them, how many colors does she know? One of the teachers from last year said she knew the colors. The teacher from this year said 50-50. I said, well, which is it? Does she know her colors or does she not? And then I suggested, okay, we need to just keep this goal. They don't have the goal. And we need to just keep brushing up on it. Why isn't this a goal? Then I said, what numbers does she know? Does she know how to count to 10? No. Does she recognize the numbers 1 to 10? No. Does she know her letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all 26? No. Does she know how to write? No. She's on a 7, 8, 9-month level, but just went into middle school. What is it that you guys are teaching? Hello? What is the baseline here? You guys are the ones who want to do this annual IEP when I said we can't do shit until we have those evaluations, because y'all chose not to evaluate her for 5.5 years. But since you guys want to edit this, I'm cool with putting better goals in, because your goals are crap. So I'm cool with putting better goals in, but I need to know the baseline. I need to know her baseline. What can she count to? Does she recognize numbers? Does she recognize letters? Can she say the alphabet? If I put a B in front of her, a S in front of her, a T in front of her, can she recognize that? What does she know? So then the attorney says, okay, the meeting's over. Okay. Bye. But I know what to do afterward. All right. Don't be threatened when don't try to kiss their butt because they want to end the meeting. No, bye. That's what you say. Bye. And then you follow it up with an email, with one hell of an email. Okay? Because it's on recording. We're ending this meeting. We're ending this meeting. You're ending the meeting because you came to the meeting without giving the parents the assessment that it's a benchmark. That you gave the child a benchmark. We didn't say tell the parent. We said provide the assessment data if you're going to bring it up at the IEP meeting. That's what we said. We didn't say you had to tell the parent that you gave a benchmark, because they tried to twist that. And then they had to go get that, so the parent had that. Then when they want to give me this long spiel of how she, this is a child that is very impacted and is nonverbal, and yet she can learn. And mom has shown me she can learn. I've seen videos that she can learn. I know she can learn. It's how they're teaching her. This is a child that more than likely would benefit from discrete trial, across the table approach. I was explaining to mom, like with cards, like this is purple, this is brown, having them in front of her, adding more as you go. You can add red, so once they learn brown, then you can introduce purple, then you can introduce red, and then you say, show me red, show me purple, show me brown. And then that's how you teach them. And it's repetitive, on and on and on and on. And this is the way, more than likely, that this is the way the child will learn. Okay? Not in groups. Not when a child, again, 7 to 9 month old level. And the goals from her year before, all right, and even before that, all right, I don't even know how to, bring this up to y'all. It's like that ridiculous. Those goals, all right, were literally ridiculous. And I don't even understand how you can be an educator. And I can't say I'm saying this with all due respect because I am not. I don't understand how an educator could come up with goals like these and call themselves educators. I do not. I just don't. I don't understand how you're questioning us wanting baseline data when you all don't even know what it is. That's why they ended the meeting. They don't know what the baseline data is. So when I said it over and over, this child doesn't even have an AAC device, nonverbal, has no AAC device. So they know they're screwed. Then when I said, what numbers can the child count to? Can the child count to 10? Can the child recognize letters? Uppercase, lowercase. And then the attorney kept interrupting. And she was like, well, we'll get there. We're not there yet. I said, no, I need to know the baseline data in order for us to establish where we need to start. Because everybody from last year and down did not serve this child. So now we're doing a U-turn and we're going to change that. So I have to know the baseline data. And as an attorney, if you don't agree with that, I get you're representing your client. But come on, let's not be idiots here. Okay? There's no representing your client if you're totally disregarding the fact that you have to have baseline data. All right? I don't care if you want to go to due process or not. No hearing officer is going to say, nope, we don't need baseline data. No, we don't need that. Hell no. No, we just take the goals how we want. We just pull it out of the air. We just pull the, data out of the air. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know. I have no idea. The teacher said, I have the goals in front of me, so let me just read you a goal. Again, the child is on a 7 to 9 month level. That is what this states. Okay. Last year's goals. I don't even know what to say about this shit. I really don't. I mean, this is the crap that just makes me so mad. All right. By the end of 36 instructional weeks, when in the restroom to use the toilet, the child will pull up her pants and wash and dry her hands from moderate to minimal assistance in 50% of daily occurrences. Don't know how jacked up that goal is. All right, yes, you can have a toileting goal, but it's saying pull up her pants, wash her hands, dry her hands, minimal to moderate assistant. What's that? I don't know what that is. You got to tell me. I mean, are you prompting me 1 time verbally, 2 times verbally? Are you physically touching me and guiding me? What the hell does that mean? And 50% of daily occurrences, what's the daily occurrence? Or is it you just kind of dock it down? Like, you got to be able to measure this stuff. All right? That's stupid. You pick, certain things that they will independently do X, Y, Z, and you create a plan on how they're going to do it. But if you combine too much into one, it sets them up for failure. You have a goal. Here's another one. When presented with various writing utensils, the student will imitate vertical, horizontal, and diagonal strokes with a 2-inch boundary moving to 1 inch with moderate assistance in 60% of opportunities provided. Okay, so vertical and horizontal diagonal strokes. Okay, well, I understand that part, but the goal is just jacked up. 2-inch boundary moving 1 inch. Who cares? Just keep it simple. All right, that she's going to trace a line vertically and horizontally. All right, 8 out of 10 times over a 9-week period in an occupational therapy setting, whatever. Okay, but it has to be measurable. Okay, 60% of opportunities provided. Well, how many opportunities are provided? 60% out of what? Here's a reading one. This one really took the cake. When presented with reading readiness skills, what the hell's that? The student will group like objects and identify unlike objects in a group. Okay, so do you want her to group the like objects, or do you want her to identify the unlike object? Are you saying that she'll group the objects and then pick which one she doesn't like and put those in a group? Like, it's not explained. Do you see how it's not verbally stated in a simplistic way of what do you want the child to do? Bam, that's how the goal goes. What do you want them to do? Get to the point. We don't need to say all this crazy jargon and crap. Just what do you want them to do? Okay? What do you want them to do? Straight up. All right? It's that simple. And then with moderate assistance, no, that's not detailed. That's not specific. So moderate assistance. So you can say with no more than 2 verbal prompts. Okay? That could be with no more than 1 verbal prompt. Okay? If it's a, say she was writing, the vertical and horizontal, that could be, a moderate assistance could be hand over hand. Okay? That's fine. That hand over hand, she'll be able to do X, Y, Z. Okay, that's a starting point. But all these goals that there's no numbers, no letters, no colors, no shapes, no building block. But you want her to sort things in a group. We got to pick and choose what's important here, people. All right, we got to pick and choose. I mean, we cannot just pull goals out of thin air and not look at the end game. The end game is we want our kids to be productive adults. And we've got to start from the basics. If it's a preschool level and that's the area we're kind of starting, then we need to say that this child needs to have those shapes, colors, numbers, all of those things, the alphabetic principle, all of these things that are so important. She'll never read, even if it's with an AAC device, I don't care, until she recognizes letters. She'll never be able to do math if she can't recognize a number. But nowhere in the goals do they have that. And then when I ask what she knows, nobody could tell me. But you want to end the meeting. Violations have they already done? They want to end the meeting so they can get their shit together. All right. And so you need to know that that is red flag number 1. All right. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Don't be threatened by them ending the meeting. All right. Yeah, you took your time. You took the day off, whatever it is. But I'm telling you right now, do not sweat that. All right. That is your red flag of something's wrong. They don't know what is going on with my child. And that's a big deal. The last thing I'm worried about is them getting off. That the only person that looks bad upon is them. All right. The attorney ended the meeting. That looks bad against her. Okay. Because she is not on it. The teacher responded finally and said, no, she doesn't know her letters. She doesn't know her numbers, and that's when the attorney ended it, because she didn't want me knowing that they had not taught her for all of elementary school, anything. When the student can learn, because it actually does say in the data that she was able to segment some words, like separate them. And that she was able to identify blended phonemes. So there's certain little tiny things that she showed that she could do, that the potential was there, but no one was teaching her right. The teacher contradicted herself and said, she stated, I'm really trying to stay away from, one-to-one, I wanted her in a group and, all of this and all of that. And then later she said, yeah, she put up on the screen, 2 B's, a big B and a little b, and showed like kind of like she was put into a, I don't know, what do you call it? Where they're kind of separated from everybody. And that they were working on that and that she learned with that one-to-one attention. So when I called her out on that, she silenced her microphone and started looking over like, why do teachers do that? Y'all are all in the same room. I'm asking you a question and you want to turn to the other person. Do you not know the answer? Do you know how stupid you look when you look to somebody else as if they're supposed to answer it for you? Why do you do that? Why do schools do that? Do you guys not recognize that when they do that? When you're in an online meeting and they're looking at each other like, what do I say? What do I say? Can I tell her? I don't get it. Seriously? I mean, I was in an IEP meeting yesterday and one of the speech therapists asked the attorney, what's your thoughts on this? Hello? The attorney's never met your child, ever. Your child is a piece of paper to the attorney. That's it. Your child is a piece of paper. And pieces of paper say a lot of things that are like negative, if you will, versus meeting the person and saying, oh, that wasn't really accurate. Right? Can't believe everything you read. But we got an attorney, you're the speech therapist. The speech therapist is going to ask the attorney, what's your thoughts on this? Huh? But yet, they're the ones who are supposed to pick and choose our children's assessments. Is there something wrong with this picture? Is there something wrong with this picture? Am I the only one that's super duper pissed off about it? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Look, I always make fun of my husband for starting a sentence with I mean. I mean, and listen to me, I'm picking it up. I cannot handle this. It is daunting, isn't it? You're going to look over as if what you're teaching this child. I'm supposed to have confidence and admiration for you. And you're looking over at somebody else to answer the question or tell you what to say. All right. So who should give your child assessments? Anybody want to answer that question? Let's go through it step by step. All right. Get your papers out. Let's go through this. And then I'll explain to you how you do this again. All right. So, hi Sue, how are you? Yeah, I get answers from the admin. That's right. All right. Thanks, Angela. I appreciate that. Texas does not want to take the time to do one-to-one. Yeah. I work with the largest school district in Texas, and I will say that I've kind of whooped them into shape a little bit. And their attorney, I have some good respect for her. I do. We have gone at it. She is the attorney that I talk about a lot. Her and I have, yeah, of course you can ask a question, Tanya. And when I say we've gone at it, I mean, you guys have heard me. We have gone at it. I mean, screaming matches, bad. I mean, I leave the meeting thinking, holy shit, what just happened? You know? But like now it's cool. But it's almost like that had to happen to like get things going. You know, that was a parent who was like, I guess I got to get out the popcorn because they're going to be, you know, fighting it out, you know? And it was a battle of wills. I knew I don't know anything about what she does or anything like that, but I knew in reference to IDEA and special education as she did, because attorneys do not learn special education law in law school. So know that attorneys do not always know it all. Attorneys are used to settling. They like to settle. All right. They're really good at settlements, or most of them, some of them, but, the knowledge came from, if they're a special education attorney, from them wanting to learn it, not that, they're hands down awesome at it because they're an attorney, because they did not learn that in law school. Okay. Special education law is not taught in law school. Okay. So with that said, all right, people, if we're doing an academic assessment, you want a psychologist or a diagnostician. All right. Sometimes school districts will say that their teachers do it. Hell no. No offense, but hell no. Cognitive psychologist. Sometimes diagnosticians can do that, but psychologist. Behavior, hands down, a BCBA. If they say, well, our psychologist does it, say, well, I want a BCBA. That's the person that's the most qualified. That's what you're supposed to do. Well, we don't have to do that. Okay. Have your psychologist do it. I'll ask for an IEE. Then I'll have a BCBA do it. So up to you. You can contract out. You can get a BCBA, whatever you want to do, or you can have your psychologist do it. But if you have your psychologist do it, unless she has an extensive background in behavior specifically, and not just psychology as in a whole, which is she knows a little bit about a lot. And a lot of school psychologists only have a master's degree, which I have a master's degree, doesn't mean they don't have any knowledge. It just means that they don't have a PhD. They don't have that extensive training in something. Okay. So for example, they need to have training in behavior, training in doing FBAs, training in doing behavior plans and behavior intervention plans. Because I'll tell you this, I've worked with doctors in Texas who have their BCBA and they have their doctor in psychology. And I blew him out of the water when it came to developing a BIP in his FBA. And guess whose way they went with? Why? Because I've done hundreds and thousands, not hundreds, thousands of them when I was in school to become a BCBA. I am not a BCBA, but I finished everything but 3 months. I know, stupid, but whatever. I didn't finish. But you have to get 5,000 plus something, I don't know what it is now, hours of working under a BCBA. And I got just about that many hours. And that's doing FBAs, working with kids, ABA therapy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then I have extensive training in reading. So, but that's it. I don't have any extensive training in anything else. I'm an advocate. I advocate for all children, but I have even more extra, kind of like a doctor becomes a heart surgeon and they have that extra training in heart surgery or whatever it is they learn, right? Well, you want to make sure that psychologist has extra training in behavior. If not, they are not the most qualified. Can they do it? Yes. But are they the most qualified to do a behavior plan and an FBA in order to create a behavior plan for a child with severe behavior needs? Hell no. No, they are not. And most of the time, I've seen the hypothesis missed. Okay. Which means more than likely you're not or didn't come up with the antecedent. All right. So if there's any BCBAs out there, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? In my opinion, the antecedent is the most important. What happens before the behavior occurs? You know, you got your ABCs. B is behavior, C is consequence. I don't like to talk about consequences. Behavior, we already know what it is, whether it's escape or hitting or jumping or kicking or whatever it is. The behavior is the behavior. I already know what that is. That's why they had an FBA. So the goal is to figure out what the antecedent is. What is it that's happening before the behavior occurs? So when you do graphs, that's why I like to do graphs with behavior, because then you can see when it goes up and down. Okay, on Monday it spiked, Tuesday it goes down a little bit, Wednesday, that's how my daughter used to be, where it spiked on Mondays because she was home, and then it like kind of went up and down. So that is important. So very important. Okay. The other thing that is very important is speech. Speech is obviously a speech pathologist. OT, occupational therapist. Physical therapist. You bring in social workers or counselors if there's need for like a social group or counseling of any such for any reason. I've worked with kids who've been severely abused and, gone through a lot of things. And so social groups or individual therapy, that's when you want to bring in a social worker and a counselor. Adaptive behavior, again, that can be a BCBA, that can be part teacher, part parent. And, BCBA, obviously, when I say that, that would be them observing and then giving their input, teacher giving their input, parent giving their input, and then that's more of a it's given to you to fill out. Okay, it's not like a formal. Then so you have we covered cognitive, we covered academic, we covered adaptive behavior, we covered behavior, we covered OT, PT, speech. Okay, if we're considering like music therapy, then obviously the music therapist, so dependent on the evaluations, that's who should be giving the evaluations. I in no way think that a teacher should, one, have to give formal evaluations. All right. Now, benchmarks, sure, because that helps them. That's for them. Benchmarks don't mean anything to me, but they are good to, help support a teacher and just kind of seeing where the child is. But does that information go into the IEP as some hardcore data? Heck no. Okay. But does it help and support the teacher in regards to, how the child's doing and helping support things? Sure. Okay. So that's how that goes. So now you know in order of which to request of who does what. All right. We talked about the evaluations that you can request. We talked about the fact that they can decide, but that you need to push that and say, just like I said a few minutes ago, okay, if you guys don't want to do what I'm requesting, then I'm going to more than likely, don't say I'm going to, more than likely ask for an IEE, because you want to give them the opportunity to do a decent one, but you're saying more than likely I'm asking for an IEE because we don't have a trust factor right now. I can't trust you. That's why I have an advocate, So that's what I'm saying. Okay. So bottom line, or you can say, if you're doing this, don't take no for an answer. And if they say screw you, basically, and they're going to do what they want to do, then look at that evaluation. If you don't know how to read it, make sure you find somebody who does, and then make sure that you do everything you possibly need to do to go get a appropriate and adequate evaluation. Okay. Because if your evaluation's 3-4 pages, that I can tell you right now, it's not a good evaluation. All right. And that is even with a nonverbal child. I don't care. Okay. There's tons of assessments out there for children who are nonverbal. Okay. To understand and know what their intelligence level is. Just because they can't talk verbally doesn't mean they don't understand. So that is important. All right. So we covered that. If you have questions, make sure to post them. Okay. We talked about, in a last one, we talked about the bilingual. We talked about the areas your child can be evaluated, and we talked about the appropriateness of the assessments and evaluations for your child and which ones were my favorites and the ones that I've really gotten amazing results from. And then the ones that, are out there but aren't exactly my favorites, but they're not horrible. And then, of course, we talked about why IEP assessments are important and essential for you to know your child's baseline, the data, the information, where they are, and how to create their present levels in order for them to have a completely individualized education plan, for us to have this starting point to be able to build off of. Okay. So the next thing is I want to say hi to everybody. So we have Dorothy and Marlene and Leanne. Oh my gosh. Hi, Leanne. How are you? We have Nan. When I go see my brother in Austin, Nan, we're going to have to get together. My son's IEP meeting's tomorrow, so wish her good luck. Let us know how it goes. Aaron's in California. And then we have Cheryl. How are you? I messaged you the other day. I don't know if you saw it. Susan, mine is not until January 2023. Hi, Sky. Just got home. Huh? Yeah, we can do that. Give me a second, okay? Did you have a good day at school?
Yes.
Good. What'd you do?
I did some reading.
You were doing reading?
Yes.
Good. All right. Can you give me like 2 minutes?
Yeah. I'm going back in September 30th.
Okay. All right. She's grounded from her phone, so she's like, I get my phone back on September 30th. I grounded her. Mad. I was mad.
I was mad this morning.
You were.
I know.
Mm-hmm. I'll be right there. Shut my door. All right. So Angela says, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Aaron says, like how when you called out the school's attorney at our IEP meeting and he got all nervous and had to all of a sudden leave. Yeah, that was funny. That was interesting. That was the first. Why does this feel like you were talking about my school district? Yeah. Getting answers from admin so they don't get in trouble. Yeah, I know, right? This is what you say. Let me be your mouth for you because you don't have one of your own. Or you do have one of your own. You hear my puppy? You hear Leo, Aaron? He's like, let me out of my cage. This is from Sue. If you want an IEP meeting, call it. Yep. I think the best evaluations are done by a multi-factored team, including teacher who spends much more time with the child than the psychologist does. Yes, okay. So I can respect that, Sue. But the only thing I will say to that is a lot of times it's not the teacher's knowledge or of the child, because I agree with that. What it is it's the knowledge on the assessment. Does that make sense? So when you do something over and over and over, you get proficient at it and doing things different ways and tweaking it and figuring out, depending on how you need to do it, for the child, not tweaking the assessment. So it's done with fidelity, but tweaking, your approach and that sort of thing. And what's difficult is, oh my God, this person, I gotta get rid of them. See this stuff? I'm like, where is it? See, like psycho people on YouTube. Okay. So yeah, so that's the biggest thing for me is it's not the teacher's lack of teacher's knowledge for the student, for a good teacher, right? It's the lack of knowledge on the assessment. So then you have that issue there, where a psychologist, they do them all the time. BCBAs, of course, they evaluate behavior all the time, right? So, of course, counselors and social workers, they do social, and counseling all the time. So it's more about that repetitious and who's the most qualified. So it's not that the teacher and her input, his input isn't important. It is. And that's one thing that I listen to when I go over evaluations is what is the teacher's input to this? What is it they're seeing? And so I would much rather get that important information from the teacher than the teacher, with all the responsibility they have on them right now, be responsible for a formal assessment on top of it, So that's kind of where I go with that. Plus, like I said, it's not something they do all the time. It's actually, some districts don't allow it at all. So that's where I am with that. But I completely respect what you're saying, and I get what you're saying. Hi, BB. How are you? Oh, you saw it today, Cheryl? Aaron, I have a question for you at the end, so don't distract from topic. Yeah, Leo's all mad. He's ready to get out of his cage. I've been working today and was in an IEP and, hung up on by the attorney. So, which I'm writing an awesome, super nice email to her. Sue says yes, except, yeah. When talking about when talking about a standardized assessment, you're right. Yeah. So, 100%. Are you a teacher, Sue? Because I welcome, that dialogue of what's your thoughts, like, do you have something different, kind of like you offered, which 100%, I love that, so yeah. And I will straight up say, I've met some amazing teachers. I cannot tell you, Sue, how many amazing teachers I've met that are told so many times to shut up in the meeting. You can tell they're like petrified. And it sucks. I mean, it's like, someone's holding a gun to their head or something. Like, I got out of the school district before all that, got bad, but I mean, it's horrible. And, I personally, how it is, how they're always the ones under attack. And, it's like that, especially right now, they have enough on them that the last thing I want to do is put a standardized assessment on them. I'd rather get their input on the assessment. What are their thoughts? Okay, the assessment said this. What are your thoughts? What are you seeing? Is this something that's consistent? Because in reality, if a child in an assessment did something and was not able to do it, but the teacher's like, oh, he does that for me all the time. Does he mess up? Does he do things, incorrectly sometimes? Yes, but he does that a lot, so that's huge information, right? Because I could just be pissed off that I'm taking an assessment and not do it that day. So, I really love getting, that input, but teachers got to talk. They gotta, and same with service providers. You guys got to talk. Stop being scared of the damn school district. What are you scared of? You got more leverage on them than they do you. They need you more than you need them. I just did a TikTok on that yesterday. All right. Teachers, service providers, you guys need to realize that you have the upper hand. Literally. Advocate for these kiddos. Advocate for them. I mean, there's a disservice to them. My director of special education just left our district because of the jacked upness of it. Happens all the time. So it's like, don't let that happen. Put your foot down. Don't be dictated to. Because believe me, if they fire you, you're going to find a job in 5 minutes. It won't take long at all. Do you know how many schools need teachers and service providers? Screw them. Don't let them dictate to you to, do a disservice to a child with special needs. They need you more than you need them. Remember that. Being an advocate and a teacher in a public school, yeah, good luck with that. I wouldn't want that job. Indeed, I'm told to shut up all the time. What do you say? What do you say when they tell you? Do they say shut up, or do they just say don't talk? Like I did a poll and all the teachers said, like I put a percentage on it. So let's just say 70% said we're told less is more, to be quiet unless spoken to. The other 10% said, oh no, I run the meeting, everything's good, whatever. And then the other, the other 10% was kind of, up and down. So it was more though the ones that said, yeah, we're dictated to, we're told less is more, not to offer information, only to speak when spoken to. I'm like, why would somebody not want to tell a parent how their child's doing in school? Like, I don't think I'll ever understand. Well, I speak up, but my peers do not. It's very difficult. Yeah. Well, you're a good teacher. Thank you for what you do. Truly. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you do, because we need more of you. Because I think when service providers and teachers and parents who are really going for what's truly needed for the child, not what's above and beyond, not the Cadillac, the Toyota, but what's truly needed for them, and not arguing about trying to even consider generalization for a child who's nonverbal. There's no generalizing that yet. What are you generalizing? Child can't talk yet. What are you putting them in a group for? To do what? To be silent? To be mute? It's the stupidest shit ever.
I just started my period.
All right, Sky, I'll be right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I know teachers who talked because they were afraid to lose their license. They're not going to lose their license. No way. No way. Because they talk and say what that's the truth. No way. It's more a license thing to do the disservice to the child, along with the legalities that come with it. Being honest and transparent. No one's got in trouble for that. Well, that's not true, but at least they owned it. Right? But, I mean, man. Yeah, I don't know if they're scared to lose their license. What makes you say that, Dorothy? Like, have they told you that? That would be awful if a teacher thought that. Teachers don't think that. Call me if you think that, please. Because that is not true. They will not lose their license for being honest and transparent to a teacher. If anything, I would so much rather a teacher tell me, Raven, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Sky is struggling with XXX. Do you have any ideas to help me? Because what I'm doing isn't working. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Please say that. Because I don't know any parent that wouldn't say, well, what are you doing? Let's talk about this. Let's figure it out. I can come in for a parent teacher meeting, and we can put our heads together. And I mean, that would be awesome. Teachers should not be afraid to do that. If anything, we are going to 500% respect you more. Same thing with service providers. I've only met a couple shit service providers and a couple shit teachers. But what makes them shit, other than their intelligence, is them not advocating for the kids, them being quiet and doing a disservice to them when they're smart teachers who want to do right, but instead let the district win. That's what I meet the most of, is those good people who let the district win, which makes them not so good. It takes the good away, even when it's not wanting to be intentional, if that makes sense. They did talk, even though they were told, oh, good, that's good. Admin scares the hell out of teachers these days. Why though? Teachers are afraid to stand up for their rights or for the rights of this. That's the one thing that I do. I would never live in California. Okay, y'all. Sorry, Aaron. I'll come visit, but I ain't living there. And I deal with California, as you guys know, and Texas all the time. All right. I'll take Texas over California. But in regards to just dealing with people, that Texas is difficult, but California is just different. They got California and New York, their own freaking states. They're not even part of the 50 states, in my opinion. They do their own thing. Pennsylvania and Michigan and Illinois are working their way to that area as well. And go figure, they're all two-party states. You can't record. All right, not New York, but all the others. In California, you can. Thank goodness that you have to give 24-hour notice. But yeah, I would love. Maybe you guys can help me to get a ton of teachers together to brainstorm and create a plan to really advocate for these kids, because you're not going to get in trouble in regards to, now, are they going to like have words to say, et cetera, et cetera? But right now, especially, I don't see you getting fired. And even if you do, you're going to get a job literally in 5 minutes, because every single district needs teachers so bad. They're hiring people that don't even have a license to teach to teach. Did you know that? So make sure you are asking if that teacher has a license. Yeah. Which is not a good thing, Bill. Right? Do you agree? All right, guys. So that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. So we finished the series. What do you guys want next? I have a couple ideas. I do. You guys know I'm going to be doing a reading series, hands down. You guys know I'm going to be doing a behavior series this year, hands down. I am taking a couple more clients. No more than 3. Really 2, because I just filled a spot. And then crazy, I'm still busy with current clients, but I will take 2. And keep your heads up, and don't sign your IEPs unless you are, yes, that's right, Dorothy. Oh my God, who is this person on freaking YouTube? You see this stuff? 69 mega. Oh my God. And I keep blocking them. How do they keep coming back? Oh my God. That's the one thing that's annoying about YouTube. How do you get rid of these like troll people? All right. Okay. All right. So I think we got everything. I don't think I'm going to do a present level mastermind, because I'm coming out with the full blown course for present levels and goals. So how to take and everything we learned from that mastermind, and everything even I learned from that mastermind, and making it one badass class, of a course, just like my Rock IEP course. So, where I take you through the whole process, share my screen, and really teach you how to do those present levels, and also share recordings. Maybe I'll even share yours, Erin, Kim. But yeah, so I will get parent signatures for any recordings that have names, and then the others that don't have names, I can play. So one thing I want people to hear too is how I say things, like today, like what I was asking when she ended the meeting. There was no names. So maybe what I'll do, Erin, you know how to put a video together on Canva? I'll play it for you. What can the child understand? Can she count to 10? Can she say the alphabet? Can she recognize letters? Can she recognize upper and lowercase letters? Can she recognize numbers 1 through 10? Can she count? What can she do? Up, meeting over, bye. We don't know. We don't got a baseline. We haven't assessed her in 5.5 years. I mean, they should have just come clean. They should have just come clean. I mean, it's obvious. Come on now. I mean, and what's kind of interesting is how the attorneys make them look even more guilty, because they're like, okay, we're gonna end the meeting because we don't know and I need to find out more. So we're gonna end the meeting. That's what she's saying without saying it. I mean, it doesn't take any type of genius to know that. All right, guys. We're also gonna do. I'm going to do a series on executive functioning. That's going to be a good one. Executive functioning and working memory. I'm going to incorporate and bring on a occupational therapist to support me with this, but I love talking about visual and spatial processing and how that can inhibit growth in the educational system. It's actually something that's really prominent and dominant in children with special needs, and it's something that's actually overlooked quite a bit. So that's going to be something that we're going to talk about. Executive functioning, that is the captain of the ship, right? So if that captain, what is his job? To get to the destination. If you don't know how to navigate your way in order to get that to that destination, what's going to happen? Failure, right? So that's going to be a key series to really be mindful of, because if there's no executive functioning, there's more than likely not a whole lot of learning happening. Okay. And then I'm trying to figure out, for me, how I can do a series on helping parents. And I don't know if I'm going to do a series. I think I'm just going to do it in my membership that's coming out next week. Is I want to teach you guys how I figure out when something's not right and how to dig deeper from what it is that's said to you. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to figure out how to really make it. So I think it's going to have to be in person in my membership, which we're going to do Zooms twice a month, face to face, where I teach you the tone of things, get signatures from parents. I'll let you watch the videos, of school districts and things that they're doing, their body language, all of those things that lead me to something's not right. And those red flags that I want you to see versus, have this outlook that is a little bit skewed. And then that's when frustration happens, because what happened didn't end up being what you thought it would be. So being able to basically catch those problems before they become serious. All right. Knowing that your child can't read, especially if you hear, oh, they read beautifully. They are an amazing reader. If you hear that, that's a red flag. That sounds so crazy, right? If your child can read and the teacher says that, if they have an IEP, okay, and the teacher says, oh, now that doesn't mean there's kids that can't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it is a red flag. All right. And if your child can, really read, okay, if you know what reading is. All right. But what I'm saying is, like, when I've heard most of the time, oh, the child reads awesome. Oh, really? Huh. How is that? Because the assessments say different, Oh, I can give her a book and she can read it. Beautiful. Oh, ding, ding, ding. The child is amazing at fluency, not reading. Reading is comprehension. Word recognition equals language knowledge equals comprehension and full reading understanding. Reading, understand, yeah. Okay? You have to have word knowledge that leads to vocabulary. Okay? So you have to have all that. Word recognition, which leads to language knowledge. Okay? Language knowledge is your vocabulary. Sight words, CVC words, all of those things that expand. If your child doesn't have vocabulary, they're not going to understand what they're reading, right? So make sure that when you hear, all right, child can read beautiful, that they can comprehend everything that they read. So then I have to say, okay, so what you're saying is if I gave this child a book, the child could read the full book. Yeah. Okay, so they could read the full book and then I could ask any questions in regards to that book and they'd be able to tell me. Oh, no, but she can read beautifully. That's not reading. I requested an FBA last month, and last week they sent me a notice of meeting to review the results on September 9th. But I just asked my son's teacher yesterday if she's already start taking data when my son have meltdowns in class and she doesn't have idea what I was talking about. So I'm assuming that they not even start with evaluations and they want to meet with me next week. Well, if you requested an FBA last month, if you request an assessment, an FBA, the only place you can't ask for an FBA by itself is New York. But if you had a full-blown evaluation and you ask for an FBA, that can be done in New York. All other states, you can ask for FBAs whenever, but that is a formal assessment. So if you requested an FBA last month, you should have gotten within 5 days evaluation paper that checked off FBA where they sign it, or a letter saying, no, we're not going to do an FBA. And then you can proceed with, whatever you want to proceed with. If you don't agree, dispute resolution, argue with them to get them to do it, whatever. But if you request an FBA, I don't know about the review part because that's part of the FBA. But if you didn't sign for the FBA, then that's not allowed. So did you request it and then they sent you a consent and then all of that happened, or what? Message me and we'll talk about it. All right, guys, have a good afternoon. We will talk more tomorrow or the next day, and we're going to start a new series. All right. So don't forget to like me on TikTok and share this, and make sure you post below that you shared and liked, and your name will go into the hat for the Amazon gift card for this month. All right. We all love Amazon. I'm giving away gift cards. All right. So I'm going to give away 3 gift cards for 3 amazing people. Okay. And if you don't like Amazon, I'll keep it because I love Amazon. Okay. I'm addicted. I got problems. Amazon and Costco. Anybody else have those addictions? All right. Sounds good. Thanks. I'll mess you. Okay, good. You're welcome, Dorothy. And thanks so much to you guys participating. Hi, Sally. How are you? I have a teacher who just retired and coming with me to my next meeting. Cool. And Cheryl. Oh, thank you for giving other people information. And Sue, thanks so much. I would love to talk with you. I'm getting that is one thing I'm doing, is getting a mastermind together of experts, teachers, OT, PT, speech, etc., BCBAs, to do a mastermind, so to speak, like just one day, for like 2 hours where we kind of collaborate and you just see us just talk. All right. And you're able to ask questions and we're able to share the things that you need to look for. All right. So that's going to be set up pretty soon. So definitely keep a lookout for that. And that's going to be a fun time. Okay. So you'll be able to kind of get in your PJs, get your hot chocolate, and come chill with us for about an hour and a half or so. All right. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow or the next day. Don't forget to like me on TikTok. Also, if you haven't gone to YouTube, definitely do that. And I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.